I dropped you in by secret plane, by stealth plane, how would you know that you had landed at the Tea Party convention?
There's an energy to it that you don't see anywhere else. It's really hard to describe, but if you've been to the rallies, I was at the 9/12 rally here in Washington. I've been at others. There's this energy, and it's an anti-Obama energy that you would feel there that you're not going to get at any other political event or political rally in this country.
Gathering steam or leaking air out of the tire?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, it's hard to say
what you are witnessing is raw hate. Disgusting displays of mainstream liberal media bias, spin, propaganda. The media elite thumbing their long noses at the salt of the earth Americans comprising the grassroots Tea Party movement. If you don't believe me, your humble blogger, surely you will accept the word of the world's biggest demagogue, hypocrite, news analyst, no less than Bill O'Reilly.
A war breaks out over the Tea Party, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. As you may know, the Tea Party held a convention in Nashville over the weekend. Sarah Palin was a keynote speaker and spent some time defining the movement, beginning with President Obama.
There are many things that he is doing today that cause an uneasiness in many, many Americans. I'm one of those who looks at the way that he is treating the trials of these terrorists and kind of as, gosh, they're on a crime spree right now. No, we are in war. These are acts of war that these terrorists are committing. Please hear us. Congress, you have constitutional limits, and we want you to adhere to those. We have free market principles that built our country. Mr. President, we want you to remember those.
Well, it took just moments after that before the left-wing media replied, hammering Governor Palin.
What we heard tonight was more a masterful exercise, masterful in paranoid politics. I mean, she came across to me as a merchant of hate with an oh gosh smile.
The mainstream media hates the Tea Party movement almost as much as it hates Sarah Palin, and the reason is simple. That's because both are a threat. Palin is a threat down the road, whether it be in 2012 or beyond. The Tea Party is a threat because it is galvanizing Republicans.
Now, what Bill Salmon said is absolutely true. Of course, he was attacked for saying it. NBC News correspondent Chuck Todd said, quote, "Come on, Bill Salmon, a dessert attack, and you know it. That the mainstream media hates Tea Party movement? Please. Didn't expect a shot like that from you."
Keep in mind during all this that the only specific example Bill provides of liberal media hate of Sarah Palin and the Tea Party movement is partisan Bob Shrum. Any day Bill wants to see equivalent hate spewing from the right, all he has to do is tune into his buddy Glenn Beck. Though, strangely, he smiles like he did debating Jon Stewart when discussing Beck's crap and doesn't find it to be the least bit offensive. However, if this was all there is to Bill's screed, I'd write it off as business as usual. Stay glued to YouTube because it's about to get very interesting.
After reading Mr. Todd's statement, the Factor began to research the mainstream media's coverage of the Tea Party. We found only two positive comments amidst thousands of reports. One by the Detroit News, the other by the Associated Press. Two. I mean, is that stunning or what?
Yes, Billo, I am indeed stunned. In a minute, you'll witness Bill spring this unbelievable, and I do mean truly unbelievable, factoid in the lap of some poor slob he's targeted as a member of the liberal mainstream media press. Here's where I can inject the obvious joke that Bill's fact-checkers always have plenty of spare time on their hands, so it's credible they've read thousands of news stories prepping for this segment. Still, I think even funnier is to point out how easy it is for me to find positive news stories on the Tea Party movement, and I'm not even a Harvard-trained journalist.
The establishment media cannot even admire the spirit of the movement, that is, Americans getting involved in trying to improve their country. Look at it this way. You can disagree with the Tea Party all day long, but the spirit of honest citizen involvement in government is noble, is it not? But the American media will never embrace the Tea Party. Why? Generally speaking, they look down on the folks. They think you are dumb. But the Tea Party is around, and it's only going to get stronger. And that's the memo. Now, for the top story tonight, a blog attacking Bill Salmon appeared on the website Politico. Joining us from Arlington, Virginia is the executive editor of the aforementioned Politico.com, Jim Vandehei.
Did you notice? Heck, how can one miss The fact that when conservative fake newsmen, Bill Salmon and Bill O'Reilly, criticize the press, that's fact-based analysis. But when they get criticized, it's a quote-unquote attack. Did you also see that cute little straw man Bill just built then lit up in flames? He's smearing the media by claiming they're elitist, that think the common man is dumb.
But you are not going to sit there, Van der Heij, and tell me that out of the thousands of reports on radio and television and in the newspapers, 2 were positive of the Tea Party. Come 2.
Bill, I don't buy that research to begin with. I don't know if you looked on Politico.com, we've probably done scores of stories on the Tea Party.
No. We didn't do internet research because it's impossible to do that.
Oh, you're talking about just...
And I said, no, I said establishment, mainstream media, newspapers, television programs, and radio like CBS News, World News Roundup, that kind of thing. 2.
Bill mentioned CBS News. Let me give you a sampling of their raw liberal hate against the Tea Party movement.
Special lineup of guests. Today we're going to talk about the Tea Party movement, its influence, and where it's headed. Sarah Palin spoke to Tea Party activists this weekend, but they represented just one branch of the movement. To help us understand where this young movement is headed, I'm joined this afternoon by Max Pappas of FreedomWorks, a conservative think tank. And by telephone, I'm joined by Jenny Beth Martin. She's the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots, which we should note did not host Sarah Palin this weekend. What, though, about this notion of picking candidates, getting involved in elections, and influencing the political process in that more direct way? Some people have said that that's something that the Tea Party movement must do. Others have said this needs to be a more organic a process in which there's not so much picking of winners and losers in terms of actual politicians.
With Tea Party Patriots, we have 3 core values: fiscal responsibility, constitutionally limited government, and free market.
Are doing. One, I think people were late to the story. That is indisputable. But once they did catch up to it, there was coverage of the movement itself, and then its effect on politics and on these campaigns.
Coverage
in the run-up to Massachusetts.
Come on, Jim.
No, I think in the run-up to the Massachusetts race, there was a tremendous amount of coverage.
Part of your job as a political big shot is not just to cover politics, but to cover how the media covers it.
Absolutely.
I am telling you
listen,
that
we call them out when I see it.
And you're not calling them out on this? 2 positive reports amidst thousands of dispatches? 2? Look, Salmon was absolutely correct.
I didn't do the same research. No, Bill Salmon should not have made that comment. He's running the news division. He's running your news division.
So what? That means he can't be an honest purveyor of information?
All reporters, he thinks Chuck Todd, he thinks other White House reporters, other political reporters hate the Tea Party movement, hate Sarah Palin. He has no clue. You wouldn't even be able to prove that charge to me as a student
Jim,
of
I didn't
politics
say they were negative stories. Jim, I'm a simple man, Jim. Okay, you know I'm a simple man. Number one, you're talking way too fast and way too much for a simple man like me to comprehend what you said. This is beyond simple. Okay, there have been 2 positive stories by the mainstream media amidst thousands of dispatches. We didn't say negative. We said 2 positive.
Rewind the tape, please.
Its effect on politics and on
nasty
these campaigns.
Coverage
in the run-up to Massachusetts.
Come on, Jim.
No, I think in the
run-up. Bernie Goldberg calls it the lamestream media. Okay, they despise the Tea Party movement. They don't like it, and they don't like Sarah Palin. The evidence is overwhelming in that direction, because you don't have the amount of attention that the Tea Party people have gotten, and only 2 positive stories.
The quote-unquote war on the Tea Party is like Bill's culture war. It's all in his head. YouTube limits me to 10 minutes, but I ripped video from CNN that was quite fair. The key here is Bill repeating over and over again the word positive. That's the fig leaf that keeps him from being a liar, because there's no doubt in my mind he means Glenn Beck positive. So, the fact that only 2 out of thousands of reporters aren't breaking out their pom-poms to join Fox News cheerlead for the Tea Party crowd is a good thing. Add to that the fact Bill keeps pressing the point the media isn't negative either, means they might be balanced after all.
Both of those networks, top to bottom.
Nobody watches every program.
Okay, top to bottom.
As Jim Van der Heij acknowledged, the mainstream media were very late to the story, very late to the party, and didn't really begin to take it seriously until recently. I would say, though, that the coverage of late has been, at least the news coverage, commentary aside, has been more neutral and more extensive, and I think better than it was.
All right,
I think there's been some real improvement.
Let me stop you there.